Working in an office environment usually involves a lot of sitting, but a recent study shows that sitting down is as worse or even more lethal than smoking. Now, in this week's Healthy Living, Anna Stanislaw shows us what we can do to prevent the aches and pains of sitting down for too long.
I sit to get to work, I sit at work, and then I sit to get home.
As an administrative assistant, Stacey Patton says sitting down all day causes her to experience leg pains.
My ankles would get sore, and eventually I ended up with back issues, and so I have to get up and stretch and just make sure I wasn't sitting the whole time.
Mostly because it affects everything. So we're talking about an effect from your head right down to your toes.
From slouching to craning your neck to varicose veins, this Pilates instructor says the list of negative effects from sitting down is endless.
What I suggest to clients is set an alarm on your desk. Every hour, get up, move.
Stacey has been doing Pilates for more than 6 years, incorporating a few exercises at work.
It definitely keeps me active and more in balance of what I have going on. It definitely makes you aware of where you are. Before, I would slouch a lot and my shoulders, I'd lean funny.
Pilates focuses on strength and core conditioning. Now, some of these exercises may not exactly be appropriate for the workplace, but there are a few simple moves you can do at your desk.
It's as simple as sitting tall, doing squats by sitting down onto your chair and standing back up, and doing arm stretches.
3 to 5 minutes, sit back down, readjust your posture, make sure you're sitting up straight, and then an hour later, get up and do the same thing.
And the easiest tip to remember is to breathe.
Front of your thigh facing towards the mirror, you guys. Good. And again.
Anna Stanislaw, Newcap News.
Cold Lake was rocking last night as Canadian band Hedley took over the Imperial Oil Centre. Fraser Snowden was there and has more as thousands of fans got their fill at the Wildlife Tour.
Fans went wild when lead singer Jacob Hogarth hit the stage with his hit Anything. The band, hailing from Abbotsford, British Columbia, is on a cross-Canada tour showcasing songs from their new Wildlife album.
I love their music, I love their voices, they're great, they love their fans.
It was so awesome. Me and my little sister were right there, and the speakers were here. It's so muffled and I can barely hear. It was the loudest concert and the most awesomest thing I've ever seen.
14-year-old Savannah was a VIP at the concert and actually had the chance to meet the band. She says the group was very welcoming to them.
They're pretty chill. He was really funny and he made a lot of jokes. They all made jokes, but they were really nice. They were asking stuff is it your first time? Blah blah blah. They made it feel like we were they were just really chill. It was fun.
The Cold Lake cheerleading squad had the chance to actually dance and cheer with Hedley on stage during their song Cha-Ching.
It was awesome and I was a bit nervous, but it was fun.
Hedley will continue their Wildlife tour, playing in Lethbridge and Medicine Hat. They will then continue east. In Cold Lake, Fraser Snowden, Newcap News.
Country of origin labeling continues to plague Canadian livestock producers, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. Kyle Gallagher caught up with Canada's Agriculture Minister to talk about cool in this week's Ag Report.
The fight over cool legislation has gone international. Earlier this week, a World Trade Organization panel in Geneva, Switzerland listened to arguments from Canadian and Mexican officials about why the U.S. country of origin labeling is out of compliance with international trading rules.
Our case is very strong. In fact, the American presenters alluded to the fact that the Canadian case was actually accurate and there was trade discrimination.
Ritz says these regulations are costing cattle and pork producers about $1 billion a year. While officials weren't able to get the Americans to move on amendments to the Farm Bill, they are seeing some progress.
There's a growing number of congressmen and senators against country of origin labeling, many for different reasons, some of them because of the retaliatory list that we put out early, and we fully intend to implement should we be pushed to.
The Canadian government has continually said it would retaliate against the U.S. with trade tariffs if changes weren't made to cool legislation, and the list is comprehensive.
There are things on there like California wine. Of course, that got the attention of the California legislators. They don't want to be trapped up or caught up in something like this. Neither do people that put out mattresses and office furniture and citrus fruits and, every other item we can think of to put political pressure where it needed to be put.
Retaliation is a last resort option, and Ritz says officials will continue to work with their U.S. counterparts on a solution.
At the same time, we're not putting all our eggs in that basket as we continue to move towards bigger and better access into the Pacific Rim, as well as the new European agreement that we have signed in principle.
And his message for Canadian producers was simple.
The fight is still very much on. We continue to be completely against and working with our industry towards free and fair trade.
Kyle Gallagher, Newcap News.